when the next forgiveness part is for Tillamook Vision concept. May I get Sarah?
I
mean, it says it's been half forgiven, it just seems like it was a long time ago, it may have only been 4 or 5 months ago.
It wasn't very long ago.
So I guess having that kind of information on there, might be nice,
Okay.
because you put it up there for the leaks and apartments.
Yes, because I
saw the rest of it, and I've got a comment about that too, but.
okay.
Not to get there. So it's might be a $325,000 even that.
Well, it's down here, it's not out, right, we're in requisition.
Yeah, but the 325 down here under remaining balance available projects. That is above and beyond the 350, because the 350 is for one way still up is earmarked already.
Gotcha, all right.
So this is above and beyond that, that's how much we have
Well,
for our site.
Joe, oh yeah, that's, and you're gonna be talking about how to spend the chunk of that this week.
Yeah, okay, so I will make a motion, oh, we have enough consent agenda, we're just looking at this, special, here we go.
Yeah.
Nothing to make a motion on.
Okay, nothing to motion on, but we do we have to acknowledge the payments in this to,
That's a consent agenda.
oh, it's consent agenda. Great. I don't see her payment or Kyle Ayers payment listed on consent agenda, but. It's. Maybe it's just an addition. So.
On page 21.
Oh, gosh, I didn't see anything.
Oh, no, they're not listed there. That's fair.
All right, thank you. Okay, let's move on to committee reports. The sidewalk project update, and fortunately Kyle Ayers has called in and we're gonna call on him to speak in just a moment. Kyle is the civic engineer who did our initial course of construction and helped with doing all of the drone work and the initial site survey. Not the topographic site survey, but the actual like delineation of what the project would be. Tom and I started that with some hand-drawn sketches, and Kyle's the one who's developed those initial resources for that, more developed platform, along with an initial construction cost consultation. So the next phase for this is that we need to get a permittable set of plans that we will be able to submit to the city and then provide to contractors for their final bid prices. Kyle's gonna talk a little bit more about this proposal. But this proposal is for $68,000. And after speaking with Kyle, I am very confident that he's the guy to help get this across the finish line. One of the things that Kyle and I talk about is not just the importance that we need to stress for getting through permits, but also having somebody with his expertise along the way for course of construction. So if there's any questions about architectural breakouts, i.e. assemblies, like how something is specifically supposed to be put together, like an ADA curve, because each one of these curves will be slightly different. Kyle will be available for those types of questions. So he's not just here for the permit, he's actually here for the course of construction. So that being said, if that's all right, Kyle, if you'd like to unmute yourself and maybe introduce yourself and take it away and correct anything I may have said, wrong. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I apologize for not being able to be there in person. I am a little under the weather today, so I appreciate you guys accommodating me here with the Zoom link. My name is Kyle Ayers. I've been on the coast for about 30 years doing civil engineering, and I started out with HLB and Associates, a little engineering firm around here, and then we moved on, and finally I just decided to open up my own little firm, North Coast Civil Design. And we've been working with the cities basically from Astoria down to Lincoln City. And currently, we're the engineer of record for the city of Manzanita, Warrenton, and Halem. And so we've done quite a few sidewalk projects and downtown improvement projects through the years. And this is another great candidate for one. We just got done with two different safe routes to school projects, one in Warrenton, where we improved the sidewalks going from a downtown corridor to the school for kids to have a nice, safe access way. And then also in Nehalem between the North County Rec District and the elementary school. So sidewalks, yeah, they're our business. We work with them a lot, and they're obviously very important for accessibility. Um, and as noted, we really feel that this isn't a project that you just have a cookie cutter set of plans and just hand to a contractor and say, okay, good luck. We feel that this is something that we're close, we're local, and we will be on site to answer any questions with the contractors, answer any questions regarding grade issues, talk to property owners as we're walking by. Just that's kind of what we do. We just administer the entire project from start to finish. And so basically, using the city's standard ADA details, we'll go through and we'll create a bid ready set of plans that we can put out to contractors. And we do that electronically through Quest CDN. And contractors will bid on that publicly and making sure that we're adhering to all the bid laws that are current. And then we utilize the low bidder and we'll make our recommendation and go from there. So, but of course, the first step is to get all the survey, get all the data, combine it all into a drawing package that will be submitted to the city.
Right. So Kyle, maybe this is the first time I'm really understanding this. In a way, you would also be sort of acting as a general contractor on this project because you're gonna have a layer of job site oversight, but instead of doing a markup or a commission on the sale of the project, you just have these kind of fixed costs. Is that sort of what I understand?
Yes, that's correct. They're fixed costs. And, unless the project changes, drastically, but the number that you see there is a not to exceed hourly cost. So if we come in under, you won't be billed for hours or for, anything more than what we work. We'll never go over that without your approval. And unless you say, oh, let's do this side street too, and then we could obviously negotiate fees for that. But yes, that's correct. It's just basically a lump sum bid for that.
Yeah, I like that. I like that information. Thank you. Do you need a minute? You always ask such great questions, so I'm interested to hear.
Not at this point, I don't have any, it's pretty understandable what Kyle's presented to us.
Right.
So no questions. I do like the sounds of Kyle being what you might say the general contractor overseeing things.
Yeah,
Acting as a liaison between us and the contractors. I like that very much. And also the fact that from what I can see, he'll be overseeing the billings. Also that is going to be sent to us by the contractors. I like that.
yeah,
That's to be reviewing the billings also.
and
Yeah.
Sorry, go for it. You were gonna say something.
Oh, I was just going to say, yes, we will take all the information that we gather on site, and the contractor will submit a pay request each month. We will analyze that with our data that we've come across, and we'll say, our numbers look a little different than yours, or okay, looks like your numbers are good, and then we'll give a recommendation letter to you for the payment request. So each month you'll get one of those from the contractor, making sure that everything has been installed per specifications. And we also hold back a retainer so that any performance issues or material issues that may come up because concrete cracks and there are going to be defects that have to be repaired and taken care of. So we always have to hold back a certain portion of that for a warranty. And we also require them to be bonded, of course, and have public works bonds along with that.
So would we be giving you then a lump sum for, like, let's just say the project's $100,000? Would we be giving you $100,000 up front and then you would be stewarding that? Or would we hold on to our capital and then you would also be part of the requisition request?
No, you hold on to the money, the capital, and I just make a recommendation. Then you can cut the check directly to the contractor. So I will not be part of that.
That's great. Now, we have a couple of I'm sorry, they're not subcontractors in this scenario, there's not many cases of this, but we have a couple of contractors that have given us some preliminary bids. One came in very, very close to your kind of assessment of the project. And
Yes.
one came in like almost $200,000 cheaper. So when we do want to explore this, we would like to at least, if you're gonna take over kind of the bidding portion of it, we want to at least get those two into the Rolodex.
Oh, absolutely. And this has to be publicly bid and advertised. So we have to run it in a local advertisement, which is usually the Headlight Herald, along with a statewide advertisement as well. And so that's usually the DJC. And any other references or papers that want to be advertised in, we can do that as well. But usually just those. And sometimes the city will want to run it on their website as well. But we make sure that we have all the usual suspects and all the local contractors because that's who we know are going to give us the best price. If guys have to travel in from the valley every day, and you pay all that gas and overhead, it's obviously going to reflect that in the bid, and the price is going to be much higher. So, but we will do our due diligence, go through each contractor, make sure that they are state certified and there's no claims against them. We'll do background information and then make our recommendation based on their price and the quality of their work as well.
Right. And while, DEI has been stricken from the federal level, I personally would like to see a COVID certified firm, if possible, in the mix. You're familiar with the COVID program?
Yes.
Great, perfect. Now, in your bidding preparation, you've got, section 4, 5,700. Does that cover some of the costs associated with the bid being presented correctly? Like, is there any cost in Headlight Herald, the DJC, or those costs in this bid?
We do not carry any of those costs just because they do vary. And depending on where the city wants to advertise, it changes that. So any fees for advertising need to be carried by the city. And those are usually a couple $100 for running an ad in the paper. But as for the Quest CDN, luckily it's a free platform and all that is covered under my bid. Well, free covered under my bid. So.
Any other questions right now? If they'll pop up.
I'd like to move that we accept and approve, I guess, the professional services agreement put out by those civil clients.
Yeah, I will second that.
You can't.
Oh, I can't.
I second it.
Chair doesn't get to second.
Stole your thunder.
Stole my thunder. All right, well,
I'll second.
Shannon seconded, thank you. Any discussion on accepting the proposal? I guess, if we accept this proposal now, what's the timeline to, getting started / permittable sets? Is this something that we can get done by end of March, kind of timeline, or what are we looking at here?
That's what we're looking for. We're hoping to get this out to bid early May, if not in April, because we do have to advertise for 2 weeks. And so the closer we can get to that April, May deadline, the better off the bid is going to be. So let's see. The first thing is to get our surveyors out there, and there is a little bit of research and data that they need to acquire first, just to making sure that all the boundary work is laid out. They have all their data, and we can get down there and let's see. We will have to put in a one call locate, and that usually takes 10 days for them to get the paint marks down for any utilities within the area. And so that usually holds us up a little bit. But if we can get the surveyors down there in the next couple weeks, I think that into March is pretty reasonable.
So I have a question, we were planning on going, but I haven't gone yet, out to talk to the people at Public Works to find out if we do this the sidewalk project, then are they gonna come along behind us and tear it up because they're doing like lateral lines or something else interesting? Are you gonna be doing that once we, approve the services agreement, or do we still need to do that ourselves?
Well, I would recommend definitely doing some coordination. I mean, seeing that you guys are part of the city, it would be great to have them, in a meeting at some point where we can all talk together and get that going. We will continue that conversation, absolutely. And also once we get a topographic map from the surveyor, we will submit that to Public Works as well for accuracy to make sure that they verify their water meters or any other utilities that fall within the scope. So we will definitely continue that, but if there's any groundwork that you guys can lay and start that, it would be great just to get a jump on it.
Okay.
They sort of know that we're doing this because we already went out and talked to them, that's been several months ago. And I was driving through the area where these sidewalks are gonna be installed and noticed that they had torn up the lateral line and the sidewalk that ran under. And so it's like, well, we didn't fix this yet, but if we do, I don't want them coming along and doing this.
Yeah.
Sidewalks.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, shall I call a question? Okay, all those in favor of moving forward with this proposal, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it. So we're gonna be moving forward with you, Kyle. Obviously, this is a board, so there's gonna be some procedural steps, in terms of signing contracts and getting you deposits. But if you could just email over, any more about your terms, like if we're gonna do this in, 33 in thirds or halves or quarters for the payments, and we can get things started.
All right. Thank you very much. I really appreciate this opportunity to work with you guys.
Thank you, and Kyle, all your emails should probably go through TURA at tillamookor.gov.
Okay, that sounds good.
Great. Anything else, guys?
Well, I did have one question always, and that is, you brought up something about a COVID requirement that you're requesting of him, explain.
Yep, so I know it sounds so much like COVID, but it's COVID. COVID. And
Okay.
it's effectively Oregon's diversity program to incentivize a few different categories, veteran-owned businesses, disabled-owned businesses, emerging small businesses, so the threshold is businesses that do less than $2 million a year in gross. Women-owned businesses, and I believe minority-owned businesses. And the concept behind COVID and COVID requirements is to try to get money moving into parts of the economy that aren't, traditionally the big dogs, like, Kyle probably knows some of the companies I'm about to say, but like Skanska, they are like the step below military industrial, right? You know what I mean? Like, they do hundreds of, probably $100 billion a year in business, you know what I mean? And so if we just let Skanska bid on everything, they would have the lawyers and the, you know what I mean? They would dominate. So if it's possible, we have to keep the budget at the forefront of everything. If it's possible, putting money into one of these groups, I think is a good use of Keynesian economics. Did I say that well, Kyle, or am I missing something?
No, I believe that's a good description of it.
Great.
Will it require an extra effort on your part, Kyle?
No, it's not. It's just an extra portion that we put in the contract documents. And it's just pretty much a checkbox that we review during the bid submittals, just to make sure that people are attempting to do this. Some of the smaller contractors, it's sometimes we get mom and pop, kind of contractors, and they're a small business, one way or another, and sometimes it's hard for them to break into the specific categories, and so that would have to be analyzed. But other than that, it's pretty easy for the contractors to bid on and to make that note that whether or not they comply with the specifications.
And we're still free, as I understand, from this capital level, we're still free to choose a non-co-bid contractor. If we were doing projects above certain levels, then X percentage of the contracts have to get subbed out to those types of entities.
Okay.
So
I'm appreciative of the clarity then, very much, thank you.
thank you, Kyle. I think that's all.
All right, thanks. Have a great evening.
Take care.
Bye.
Okay.
Go bid.
Masks when they were on the sidewalk.
That's all I need to do.
Well, that's what it sounds like when you say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah, okay,
Gotta get those.
I'm not alone here.
No. I was like,
All right, we got ad hoc committee for securing financing for Bouchard's future, just for. You're our number one client, so I was just gonna say that they'll be at the table. Take us away, Tom.
Oh, dear me. Alrighty, well, it looks like we have an opportunity to secure more funding. I believe that our ultimate amount that we can procure funding from a bank is 15 million?
That's the total.
That's a total.
That's the total, that's correct, yeah. Yeah, there's still 5 million left, so 15 million for the course of the whole program.
Yeah.
But we have 5 million that we have an opportunity to get more of, and so Sarah and I have been requested to be the ad hoc committee. Samantha, yeah, begin with an S, it's halfway there. So Samantha and I have been the ones that have been chosen, so we were given a packet of the previous funding securing process, and it wasn't so much they secured any funding in the paperwork that we were giving, it was them reviewing what needs to be done to secure more funding, and it was completely Greek. I read it 3 times, and when it's done, it was still Greek, and it's gonna take a little bit more understanding the process before I can really report on you what needs to be done.
so to hear you say that, because it's very sweet too.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And so at some point here, I mean, we can't get the money this year. I'm pretty sure that that's the way that our contract with Columbia Bank involves. But it would be nice to be able to start the process, and at some point you might want to get a bid. I don't know if you guys want to go with him, but I think that's his job and that's what he's done for us, and we don't have to go out ourselves.
Yeah.
Goes and looks and goes to different banks, so it says, you can consider a loan. And then, works out the curves and that kind of stuff. So you can get in touch with him anytime. one of the things that was in that packet, you have to find out. Yeah, you got one, and I have one, so Cheryl doesn't have one, and these two, you're not here, so you may go, we'll stop if you need it.
Yeah.
We're there, yeah, at some point would be to get in touch with them and work with David and see about setting up, maybe they could just come by Zoom, an initial thing where they come and they explain. You guys put together.
Yeah,
Yeah, and so we'd probably be working with people who we have already borrowed money from and have a good track record as far as making repayments on it. Yeah, so that would be to our advantage. Who's David?
David Ulrich, he's in your, he's on your list there. I see.
Director of Advisory Services.
Yeah.
Bill.
So, yeah, so that's who that is, so, so there was a funding discussion in August 27 and 2024, so that was well over a year ago, and so there's a packet of stuff that where they discussed all this and came up with all these numbers, and that's the kind of that one that you got.
Yeah.
They were shooting in 3 different parts, and this is David Ulrich, and it has his name up there, and yeah, and that's the organization, he's part of the organization that helps. Basically, organizations like ours find
So
a
we've had,
vendor, that's what.
so we've had a relationship with him in the past, and it sounds like as Kyle Ayers holding our hands in the sidewalk project, he can hold our hands while we're.
That's exactly what happened.
exactly.
He does the work and we sign the papers.
Yeah.
Oh, you recall when you charged last time?
A fortune,
Yeah,
I know it was a lot,
like
I mean, it's
over
not-
100,000.
not much, but it was a lot, it just seemed like a lot. And if you went back to August, you could find out how much he charges just for this. Yeah, preliminary stuff that they did.
Alright, well, not making any motions or anything, I'm just trying to come up with a little bit of a plan.
Yeah.
We've got a month until our next meeting, I'm also going to educate myself on this process. And so maybe by next meeting, we can just agree that the four of us will have read through and synthesized this to the best of our ability. Perhaps in the meantime, would you mind reaching out to David and just getting a 5-minute phone call going and saying, hey, we're interested in getting this process started again, you know, if you can give us any costs, you know, anything like that. I don't know if we need necessarily like a formal presentation from him yet, but I don't know,
Okay,
you've done these things, okay?
I'll pursue that. Is that okay with you, Samantha?
Yeah, I don't even know what questions to ask him at this point.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll make contact.
And so
I'm
basically,
learning.
so basically what he's gonna do is he's gonna find us lenders, you know, we could, if there's more than one. As I think when we got the last loan, it was a little over $1 million. And with it, we actually consolidated some of the loans we had, so we were operating with more than one bank. I'm pretty sure that Aqua Bank was like basically the only bank that was interested in this money. They did, when we had that workshop, we probably both there, I don't remember, with,
Oh, the college.
yes. Okay, so we can do that again, that's $1,000, it's worth it. Everybody's aware of how this all works. Elaine, how, no, anyway, yeah, it was, Bank was it, the people were, my understanding was that banks were afraid to loan us money because we wouldn't be able to pay it back, but somehow they didn't understand the fact that people pay their taxes, and if you look, we've been doing this now for 20 years almost. If you look at the record of repayment, we've never defaulted.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so, and you can see that, okay, there was a downturn here, but still have the money, we pay it back. And there's always a fund for repayment. So
Yeah.
I don't know what the problem is, but it maybe this, maybe it won't exist this time.
Yeah.
It will be okay. But anyway, yeah, it is nice to be able, obviously, to work with somebody who's local, but there aren't people. Options.
Yeah. So yeah, see, I mean, maybe he's ready to give us a proposal on what his scope is and what he can do, but I think right now I'm just trying to get at that we just need to start gathering as much information and get the exploration process going.
And Ruth, you mentioned something about we won't be doing it in the year 2026.
I don't think so, I'm pretty sure that we have to wait another year, so, yeah, so the urban renewal, this is actually. This was when all this information. Is from when we got the loan, and it was in 2022, so we had to have the loan for 5 years. So let's see, 22, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we had to have it for 5 years before we could go out for the loan. That was my understanding. And so if we can do all the preliminary work this year, then we'd be ready next year. To get the loan.
Mhm.
You know, and it would be nice if it could be. Nice to just keep us $5 million, but everything we can pay that. That well. That's a lot of money, honestly. Anyway. But a couple would be nice.
Oh, a couple would be. Yeah, what's your sister's first name?
Charlie's.
Yeah, we're gonna get Charlie's Waters out there. Do you know who Alice Waters is? She's a very famous restaurateur from Berkeley, California. She invented the farm to table movement.
Yeah.
If you tune into NPR, remember there's a slow news day, they put her on to talk about how good vegetables are for it.
Yeah.
But anyway, because your sister's doing dinners.
She has her first dinner tomorrow, I believe. She seats available.
Right, and we need money for more good restaurants.
Yes.
So I think. Let's talk to the sister. Okay, I think, are we good to move on from ad hoc?
I think so, everybody has a copy of this information except the 3 people who are not here.
Right.
And then it's done. Yes, we are, yes, and there was another committee report that we contract, but let's just talk about what the contract committee came up with, and, when we get to the incident.
Do we have any new business? No. Okay. Pending business is we get the annual reports.
Yes, and I thought that it was in here and apparently it wasn't, so I do not have copies. I will get them to everybody next week.
Great.
So there's a year what we picked up or what.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll send an email when they're there. Okay, and I will email them out as well for those that would rather have digital.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, and. Project updates, we kind of already did all that. Consent agenda, it's some bills.
The one that consented agenda, when I went to the well, both. We did a fantastic job at it, presenting all that stuff, and it was great. You'd be surprised at what's on the stuff, yeah, anyway, I went through and I added everything up. And checked across of what we had said we would do, and everything matches, and then just by chance, because, Victor and I met with Sarah last Wednesday, that we just had to walk over and look. See what was happening, and then you could see, oh. Willie Wallace made these lentils, okay, there they are, you know, so we could see all this. But I didn't understand why you didn't just tear the whole thing down, I asked the guy who was there, I said. is there any original parts of this left? And he said, yes, there are 3 walls and then some of the floors. That was it, yeah, but you didn't tear off the entire roof, you're gonna do it on, did you? Or did you just fix it?
No, we did put a new,
You tore it all off and put it in?
pretty much.
Oh.
Yeah. Fantastic. In the future, I don't know when you can say this too, but if I can get the Excel file that you were sending to the board,
Yeah.
then I can get that updated into, my interest calculator.
Okay, so I'm gonna send it over to you.
Cool.
And then, a quick question for you guys. I know that urban renewal programs typically have a set deadline or like a set period of time that they run. Is that accurate for Tillamook? Do we have a set deadline when the urban renewal program will end?
So this is how urban renewals work, and it is wildly interesting and boring at the same time, so welcome to go. We are one of the very few programs that does not run on a timeline or renewal process. We run on a concept called maximum indebtedness. Okay, and so what that means is that after an assessment of a city, we are guaranteed an amount of money that the state will back us up for. And in this situation, it's $15 million. Other places that have more money, like Portland, have several urban renewal boards. There's like 11 of them in the metropolitan area of Portland that have access to significantly more resources than we do. So we don't have a timeline, we have a budget timeline. And the day we spend 15 million is the last day we can ever make a loan. And then the board will last into perpetuity just to pay off the loans.
I see.
But if we start funneling money from these principal payments and we start developing a fatter coffer for a situation called program funds, then hypothetically, even once the program ends, we can create a self-sustainable board that then can act as this bridge funding program into perpetuity. So if we start approaching this as like, hey, we've got 15 million and we want to create a return for our constituents of like 8 or 9%, then at the end of this whole program, the TURA board could be sitting on roughly $1 million to $2 million in funding that then the program ends, the city or the state gets their taxes back, and then we could keep funding small businesses forever. And we can do this by making the loans and getting money back, paying down our debts, but we can also make strategic investments. The Urban Renewal Board is allowed to purchase securities, so we could buy things like BOO or Google, and we could grow wealth that way. We also could continue to make higher interest loans if we attract more businesses. Like if we got a developer from Lake Oswego who's got big bucks, then maybe they're getting 9% loans versus a lower developer. See what I mean? So it's an interesting board, so thank you for asking.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I remember that, it depends, you have gas housing customers. When they think about having this little bit taken out, because it mounts up.
But-
It does not.
But once we pay back the 15 million, any money that is set aside, the taxes, they get their whole system back.
Well, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
But they might not wanna do it, 40 years from now, they might wanna do it.
As soon as possible.
Well, I have no idea. I have no idea how they think about it because theoretically, the amount of money that they should be able to collect, even now, should have gone up.
Oh, totally. But what in the scenario I'm talking about, we no longer have access to maximum indebtedness. We only have the money that we can, set to the side. And so then we just become a quiet program sitting on the side. Which could be great if we steward that for the future, but that's a lot of money.
So do you guys have an estimated date when you'll repay back the 15 million and property taxes will go back into the city?
No, because we keep taking out, we don't have a loan, there was never a loan of 15 million. The loans come in small increments.
Yeah.
So our last one was 4 years ago. And so we are living on that money.
Yeah.
And so, so that's why we're waiting and the contract with the bank was that we had to wait 5 years before going out. So next year, 2027, go out with more money. And how much you get is gonna depend upon what a loan institution would give us.
I see.
So hypothetically, they give us $5 million next year.
Yeah.
We spend $5 million in 1 year.
Hmm.
The board is now done, and the board now just needs to collect payments and pay things back. And so depending on the terms, maybe that's another 10 years, maybe that's another 5 years. But more realistically, we're gonna get $500,000 to 2 million, and then we're gonna be hamstrung for 3, 4, 5 years, and we're gonna get another. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So this program could go on for a long time,
Okay.
which is great because there's very little oversight and we can pump money into the economy.
Right.
You know, it's bad if they're looking at it from certain tax perspectives, because they want access to that capital sooner rather than later. But their capital is going up because the tax base is going up because of the worker.
A lot of work we've done,
Yeah,
so. You know, it's just, but those are just some of the realities of it.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't you two ever go away, because your knowledge is so valuable and there's so much to learn, Samantha, am I speaking for you
Oh,
also?
you were speaking.
Yeah, so don't you two go away,
I know.
do not,
well, hopefully take over for both.
you either.
All right,
I have to make a motion that we accept the consent agenda and we pay all these bills.
am I allowed to?
No, you can't be on.
No motions.
To the tune of $70,654.57.
I would second that.
Discussion? Call the question, ayes,
I,
nays? The ayes have.
And you have all the checks, right?
Yes.
don't leave the
So,
earth until you
don't
get your
leave
check.
them to get-
Yeah.
Just give it to you tonight. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, board comments, non-agenda items,
Well, there's plenty for that.
yeah,
Oh, okay, we're there, okay.
and then we'll get to correspondence and information.
I do have updated binder information. So since last year, we went through and
Right.
updated everything. What did happen in the last week was that all of, well, not all of, but the break room where binders were stored got all pulled out and moved around, and so I could only find 2 binders today. So I have 2 actual physical binders. I do have Tom for you, cause you said you didn't care, you got a new binder,
Correct.
but
I actually I have a binder at home,
okay,
so I could just replace.
There you go.
This.
all right.
What is this binder?
It is all of the bylaws
Oh.
and fiscal procedures and all that,
Right,
so.
orders.
And that's, everything is updated. All the new contact information's updated.
Write it down, everybody.
Yeah, there's a big map in the back.
It's awesome. That'll
So,
replace my first one.
and I will work on finding the rest of the binders so everybody else can have one. I went down to look to grab them and went, oh, wait, what happened?
So if you need to, go up to Fred Meyer's and buy the other 3 binders, whatever you need, and just. Ask for reimbursement.
Yes, I will.
If you can do that, if you can't, send me and I'll do it. Take care. I'm talking about something.
No,
No.
Okay, so we approved the consent agenda, thank you for that information. Correspondence and information regarding 321 Main. Lisa, I'm assuming, states that all 4 units were rented by March of 2025, they're super great. They've been fully rented since then. Looking into it further, she asked for and received a 12-month extension in December of 2023. The terms on the forgivable loan portion were not updated to reflect the updated time frame for rentals. And we update this information.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So if you look at page 53, talks about leases, forgivable loan terms. Thank you for putting those things through.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. So if we updated this, essentially it's a change of a year.
Mhm.
So that would mean that she would give us a report by June 30th of this year, and that would be for the year 2025.
Right.
June 1st to May 30th, yeah. And so each one of these numbers here will just go up one, and that would be the same under reports too, it's covered. Which makes sense to me. And it sounds like, it's forgiven, it's in 5 year, and over a period of 5 years, and it's being given a $20,000 increment, so she comes to us and she gets a report in by June 30th, we can see it in July, and then that's when we would forgive like $20,000. Just keep doing that.
Yep.
For 5 years.
Okay. I just,
I hadn't, I knew that 2 of the apartments had been rented, but we saw that this was. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any idea whether or not she rented the other 2, which you're anything, so it's great.
Yeah.
And all 4.
yeah,
So, the forgivable alone was for $100,000 and.
Yeah.
That emptied out at $20,000 per year, and so this is her second $20,000 year,
First one.
no,
Yeah,
this will be
first
the first one.
would be the first one,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, it would be, yeah, it's not the second one, it's the first one, she hasn't done anything.
Okay,
I think I wanna say she has a regular loan for 100,000 and then the forgivable loan for
Yeah.
100,000,
Yeah.
right? So she makes payments on that one part.
Right, it's in your.
The other part is. Can't find the page, right?
yeah, I'm looking, I saw it.
So. But yeah,
Well, it's in your financial thing.
yes, yeah, there it is.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Page 8,
Page 8, yeah, so,
the order.
yeah, the $100,000 she's paying 1819 a month.
So,
okay.
okay,
Yeah.
very good.
So the solid radios have one that, I think, one of that.
Sure.
And then next to it is what used to be the,
Find out,
Timeout Tavern, which is no longer Timeout Tavern, but it's been empty, he's never rented it, does anybody know why?
And Salty Raven owns that, right?
Yes,
So,
yeah,
okay,
and James Potts is the, it's by probably also, but anyway, yeah, so.
it seemed like I talked to her it's been a couple of years ago, and they were just kind of choosy as to who went in there, understandably, but yeah, I don't know why. Hasn't been updated.
I'm just wondering if he was asking so much, if you still have to pay taxes, I'm not sure. Okay.
I actually talked to the owner of Salty Ribbon a bit ago, because I was curious about running a short term, and it sounds like they're planning on moving in there. I don't know their timeline, since it doesn't look like anything's happening, but apparently they're planning on moving in there sometime soon, whatever that means.
So they can use both of those spaces?
No, I think they're planning on vacating the next door space and moving full time into that newer space.
The newer space, yeah. You saw, I can use it. It's just been a long time.
Yeah.
It's been.
Do we need a motion to officially? Okay,
I'll move that we update the forgivable loan terms for Lisa Reiner's loan, so that each one of these for report due and dates covered, each year is advanced 1 year.
I second that.
Discussion?
Yes, so her commitment to us, in order for us to forgive the $20,000 increment, she just has to report the vacancy rate in that, or the occupancy rate in that building?
and it has to stay,
Well, that's
3 of the units have to be rented out.
75%.
75%.
Okay, all right.
Oh, that's great.
And it sounds like she's at 100% occupancy. We'll read it.
Okay, that answers my question, so if that answers my part of the discussion, so if we want to run through the question then.
Call the question, all those in favor say aye. Aye, those opposed? The ayes have it. I think that brings us to the end,
Looks
right?
like it's, yeah, good.
All right, well, this was my very first one. Thank you all for the trust and the friendships. We're doing another fantastic year.
Yes,
That being said,
yeah.
7:10. Thank you very much.
All right.
All right, we'll get you signed on